What's up guys, I'm Kyle, and today all your fears of me being a GoPole fanboy are going to be dispelled. We're taking a look at the Arm 2.0. This is the new version of the extension arm from GoPro. We've seen a lot of companies, aftermarket companies, starting to copy GoPro's original arm design. That was the curved one. We looked at one of those such copies a couple weeks ago, the GoPole Arm from China Buy. And well, this is their new version, and it's supposed to be longer, better, and just all around better in every way, but it doesn't really seem to be doing that. So this is the arm. You get these two straight extension arms, and they, at least when you hold one of them, feels really, really sturdy and like a really solid, long extension arm. But then you put two of them together and you use the included small thumb screw to hold them together. And now I do have to stop here and point out they do have a very, very cool feature, and that's on the front of the pole. You can see that there's two screw holes, one farther away and one close to the point there. And then looking at the other extension arm, you can see it's got these notches in it, and there's a little tooth on this one. So when you put these together, if you want to use that back hole, that notch is going to lock out the mobility for this mount to move, meaning that it, in theory, will not bend together. And you can do that either straight, inverted, or with a little bit of a bend. So that tooth design is awesome. And that's a really, really cool way of overcoming that problem of these putting weight on the end of this thing and having it bend. And then it's also included a little tiny high torque thumb screw. The GoPole high torque thumb screws are really great, and they do work well. So they are great for locking things out. And then you get two more of those thumb screws, one to mount your camera on the end and the other to mount to a base piece. So there it is. It's all mounted, put together and mounted up. And now that whole rigid thing isn't really the case anymore. This thing has a huge amount of flex side to side. That tooth lets quite a bit of mount movement happen in there, and it doesn't really seem to be that stable. Now, that isn't a reflection directly on the engineering that goes into this. It's more of a problem when you stick your GoPro like 1.5 feet in front of your head and expect the shot to be stable. Everything adds movement, and unless you're going to be building some kind of huge, fancy, stable rig for it, trying to get a stable shot out of these two extension arms is not going to really be the case. So that begs the question, is this something you should get, or is it a complete and utter waste of money? Well, there's a couple of places you can use this where you will get decent shots. The first is you can use this skiing on a really gorgeous powder day when there's no impact. You're just going to be cruising down some gorgeous bowl and it's smooth going. Shoot at 60 FPS and then slow it down by 50%, and you'll get a really silky smooth shot. It'll be slow motion and it'll look awesome. In that case, really the movement that this is going to produce is, one, going to be slowed down because you're shooting with slow motion, and two, isn't going to be that much because this thing moves under impact, and that's not really impact. I would not be trying to use this in the park. I think landing would give it a fair amount of vibration, but it would work pretty well in the air because, again, there's no impact. So again, shoot at 60 FPS, slow it down, and you can use this in the air and it would look pretty great. I tried it out as an extension, so I mounted this on the back of my boat, and I was using it as an extension arm, much like how they advertise on the back of surfboards on their website. And what I found was that as long as I slowed the footage down a lot and used snippets of it that were stable, it was pretty good. So it becomes one of these things that, well, it may not be perfect. When you work with how it works and you start to understand the product for what it is, you can get some very usable shots out of it. So do not think that the GoPole Arm 2 is going to be something which you can stick on your helmet and hang out in front of you and get gorgeous footage all day long, because there will be a huge amount of vibration in it. But know that if you are willing to work with the footage and understand the limitations of the Arm 2.0, you will get some decent footage out of it, and it will take a little bit of a learning curve to figure out how to use this thing to its full potential. And I think that brings us to the conclusion. So Overall, the Arm 2.0 produces basically the same kind of shots as the original Arm, with maybe even a little bit more movement because it does have that center point, which allows for just more movement to come into the shot. But if you work with it, you do get it farther away from your head with this Arm 2.0, which is really great. And I think if you're willing to work with the limitations of it, you will be able to get some very, very interesting and cool shots. Guys, thanks for watching. This was another video from me. If you've enjoyed it, please make sure you subscribe, check out my channel for lots more videos, and like the video. You saw a little bit of my sailing in that video, but if you want to learn more about what I do when I'm not shooting videos, check out the link to my Facebook page down in the video description, and you can learn all about what I do when I'm not shooting these videos. Guys, until next time, thank you very much for watching.